Hello everyone, Tina here for Pinkfresh Studio. I hope you're having a fabulous day. I'm so glad you're joining us. Today I have a fun project to share with you. We are breaking out the washi tape. I have two different tapes here. I have the Artsy Floral, and then I also have the Fluttering Butterflies. We're going to be using both of these on our cards. Only one of the butterflies and the Fluttering Butterflies, but anything that we die cut out we can use on another card project, or you can put it on the inside if you wanted. Okay, so I have the coordinating dies that will cut out those. Also for my card today, we're going to be using the Decorative Frames die set. This actually coordinates with the press plate. We're not using the press plate, although it's beautiful. I just wanted to create a little bit of a sparkly border on my card, so this frame set will do the job. The largest will fit an A2 panel, so this is great on its own. I'm going to be using the nested arches as a home for my florals. And then for my background, we're going to be using the Simple Plaid stencil set. Let's jump in and grab some cardstock, and we're going to die cut out our washi. I have 3 pieces of cardstock, and with our Fluttering Butterflies, we're only going to use one panel, actually just one butterfly with this. I'm going to tack this down on some cardstock, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim away the excess. What I like to do is add a little bit of that white cardstock at the end. Just makes it easier for next time. Okay, and then our butterflies are ready to go. With the Artsy Floral, we're going to die cut out 2 panels. These have some beautiful florals, and I thought we'd make a pretty in pink card today. I'm going to go ahead and trim this. I love the gold detail of this print, and I just love the colors. Just press these down really good, and when you die cut it out too, your die cutting machine will press these really well too. We're going to use the coordinating Fluttering Butterflies die set to cut out the butterflies, and the coordinating Artsy Floral to cut out our blooms. I finished up die cutting out my washi. Now for my Fluttering Butterflies, we're just going to use this butterfly, just one butterfly. But again, if you want to save these for the inside of the card or save these for another card project, it's so nice to just put these in a little tray and have them ready to go for later. So I'm going to put these to the side. For our Artsy Floral, I'm going to be using 2 of the same on each one of my washi panels. Okay, I fell in love with this floral. I just think this is beautiful, and I love the foliage that's on here. So we have 2 sets that are the same and a butterfly. Pretty simple. We're going to put these over to the side, and then we're going to work on our background. First we're going to do some die cutting. I have the Pinkfresh Studio Essentials glitter cardstock. This is champagne. It's one of my favorites. I'm just going to take one of my panels. I had already trimmed them into quarters, and I just put the extras in the pack. I'm going to take my Decorative Frames, and I'm going to die cut this out, and it's going to leave me a whole bunch of frames, and that's okay. We could put those with the washi and later on create a quick and easy card, but we're just going to use one of the frames in here. Okay, while we're die cutting, I'm also going to use my Nested Arches die set. I'm going to take the third from the largest, and then one right below that. I'm bringing in some pink cardstock and white cardstock. I'm going to die cut out the larger arch with my pink cardstock, and then the smaller arch, we're going to actually nest them both together and die cut it out with white. I'm going to run these through my die cut machine, and I will be right back. Okay, and we'll save these for another card project, but this panel here will fit an A2 card base beautifully. You can see it lines up perfectly here. Okay, I'm going to do some stenciling on here, but before we do that, I'm just going to quickly layer both of these arches together. This is going to be a great home for our florals and also for our greeting. Let's bring in our simple plaid stencil. And again, this is 2-piece. I'm going to bring in my grit mat. And this is the front of my card base. I have a top folding card base. I'm going to place this on my grit mat. And then I'm going to add my stencil here. We're going to go ahead and line this up. We'll go ahead and tack this down, and I'm going subtle for my background, and I always like to do this. In my backgrounds, I tend to go for grays. So I'm bringing in Misty Coast ink and just using my blending brush, I'm going to lightly go over this background. Misty Coast is a very light gray, and it kind of doesn't even look like I'm doing anything with it, but against a white background, you're really going to be able to see it stand out. Let me remove this and I'll show you. Okay, I'm going to remove my stencil. And you can see it's very subtle, but it does show up. Now I'm going to add my second layer. And we're going to use the same ink and gently go over the stencil. Wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and remove my second layer, and we have a very soft but subtle background, and I'm loving the way this looks. I'm going to put away my ink and bring in my glue, and we're going to glue this frame to the outer edge of our card base. Now, after we have our frame adhered, our frame itself has rounded corners, so I'm just going to use my scissors and lightly go around each of my corner edges, just so it doesn't stand out behind that champagne glitter cardstock. After we have this done, we're going to bring in our florals. What I'm going to do is take both of these. I'm putting this one upside down, this one right side up, and then I'm going to take my arch, I'm going to add some adhesive behind it. I'm going to tack down this first one, just so a little bit of the floral's peeking out, but we have that greenery on the edge, and I'm going to do the same to the upper portion. Then I'm going to take this panel, we're going to put foam tape behind here, and I'm going to add it to the front of my card base, lifting it up with a little bit of dimension. Now I'm going to add these florals, but I'm going to layer them both together. So I'm going to add a little adhesive to the upper portion of one of them, and I'm going to stack them together, just kind of overlapping, almost creating a continuous pattern. Wonderful. I want it to overlap the top of the arch and a little bit on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to flip this over and we're going to put foam tape behind here. I'm just removing the release paper, and this is going to go to the left of our arch. I'm going to bring in some foam squares. I'm actually going to double up on the butterfly. I want it one level higher than my blooms. And we'll go ahead and add our butterfly. Now we need a greeting. I thought we would bring in the coordinating Artsy Floral stamp set. We're going to stamp the greeting that says, "Sending a little extra love your way." I think that's pretty, and I think it's going to go perfect with our pink. And instead of just using a straight black ink, I thought we'd do a little bit of masking with our greeting. I want the scripty letters, extra love, to be pink. I want it to coordinate with my pink card, and then the rest of it will be black. So what we're going to do is bring in some tape. I'm just going to use the tape that I had used when I die cut out my washi. I'm just going to line it up over the first part of my greeting and also the second part. We're basically just masking off that greeting. Okay, for sending love, I'm going to bring in 2 inks. I have Peony and Raspberry Bliss. I'm going to start with my Peony. I'm going to ink this up really good. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of my Raspberry Bliss. I'm just going to use the edge of my ink pad and go over the bottom of my greeting. I just want a little bit of a gradient. So go ahead and remove my tape. And then I'll stamp this. Press down really good. Okay, and then now I'm going to do the opposite. Now I'm going to use some now I'm going to take some tape and I'm going to mask off Extra Love. Just going to trim this a little bit. And now I'm going to ink up the rest of my greeting with Detail Black ink. We'll remove our mask carefully, and we'll give that a good press. And we have a two-tone greeting with a little bit of a gradient, and I think the colors match our card beautifully. Okay, let's take the coordinating die and cut out our greeting. I'm going to line up the coordinating die from our Artsy Floral die set. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine and I'll be right back. Let's go ahead and remove this. Now I'm going to add foam tape to one side of the greeting. I'm just going to use some very thin foam strips. Half of this greeting is going to be hanging over our florals, so I just need to add a little bit of foam tape to one side. On the other side, I'm going to add some adhesive. We'll just remove the release paper. And then we can add this in this bottom section here. For finishing touches, I'm going to bring in some of my Pinkfresh Studio Clear Drops. These are iridescent. And I love the iridescent drops because what they do is they pick up the color that's around it. So if you choose to use blues for a card, it will pick up the blues. What I like to do is place my sequins first, and then I commit with some glue. And that will finish off my card today for Pinkfresh Studio. A pretty pink card. I love those florals kind of trellising up that archway. If you're interested in any of the products that I use, they'll be listed down below in the description area. Thanks so much for joining me today. Thanks for stopping by. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.